Get yourselves ready. Okay, so hey George, welcome. Thanks for the seeing through the technical difficulties. We're not doing too bad. We're starting like 10 minutes after the hour. So we are going to employ all of the techniques that we have been practicing over these past, 3 lessons, to draw a real subject today. We're going to draw this puffin. So the first thing that I'm going to do, and I'd love you guys to do this too, is to take it. I'm using A4 printer paper. You can use like 9x12 inch or, but something in this general proportion. We're going to create a little grid. So I'm taking my paper and I'm folding it once. And I'm folding it again, just like we did with the upside down man, like this. So that when I open it, I have 4 equal quadrants. And then I will, let's see, I'm going to take this. Hold on. I'm going to redraw these. I'm using a ruler because I happen to have one, but you could use any straight edge. It could be a book. It could be a folder, but I'm just kind of redrawing the lines so that I can see them. I'm going to do that here, but mostly, of course, you want to do the folding. And I'm going to do the same thing with this guy. I'm going to fold this guy twice. Then I'm going to open him up. Go. And then what color? I think I want to use, trying to figure out what I want to use. I'm going to use this orange Sharpie. That'll be easier to see. You're going to want to draw this, of course, with your pencil so you can erase it later. So we're making the grid like we did with the upside down man. For those of you who missed that lesson, it's on the YouTube channel, which I'll show you a little bit later today. Okay. And then my question to you is, where do you think we should start? Like, how do we start when we're drawing this? What's your instinct? I'm going to tell you your instincts probably, well, I shouldn't say that. I may be setting you up. So, but it's okay. Tell me what's your instinct tell you in terms of how to start this drawing? How do we start?
Bottom left, no. I would go for, because I'm looking for the curve.
What do you mean? Just starting over here?
Yeah, but in
and doing the white
part, the white, just the edge of the white part.
You
because
think we should just do the edge of the white part? That's
yeah.
not a bad. That's not a bad. It's not exactly right, but it's not a bad instinct. What should we be starting with? Anybody else have thoughts on this? Where do you want to start? Let's put it that way.
Maybe we should start with the eye.
Yeah, so everybody wants to start with the eyes. Thank you. We are not going to start with the eyes, but the instinct, our instinct is to start with the eyes. The instinct is a left brain instinct. It's not a right brain instinct. So our tendency is to want to start with the eyes. The reason we don't want to start with the eyes is that we want to make sure that we put the eye in the right place. And we can't do that unless we sketch the outside shape of the biggest shape first. So this is the beginning. Sorry, I know I'm shaking here because I'm trying to get there we go. a drawer to close. So when I say the outside shape, I mean literally, I'll send you a picture. Notice I'm not even really distinguishing between the feet and the rock. So I'm drawing the absolute outside shape, right? Then I have an idea of where the inside shape is going to be. So there's a couple of ways that make this, things that make this easier. Number one is I look at where, and I want to point something out. Although the picture ends here, just like last week, our grid ends here at the edge of the white. So when you're sketching the tail, you don't sketch the tail all the way to the end here. You don't sketch the tail all the way to the end here, right? You put it in a little bit. That makes sense? Right? Intellectually, you're going to want to stop, you're going to want to like stop that guy soon. So one of the things that I like to do is I kind of like to mark. And I'm looking here, 2, 3, about a third of the way in is where this dot, is where this this line integrates with the grid. Over here, it's like it's a little bit less than half. It's like probably here, 1, 2. So if I were to go 1, 2, there'd still be a little bit of space. So about here on this side. And then, and in fact, actually, if I really want to be helpful to myself and to you guys, I'll probably find the halfway point, just mark it, of each edge. So oh, that's not it. Like, I'm finding the halfway point of each grid. Yeah. About, there we go. Here.
What's the benefit of that, Leah?
What do you think? What do you think the benefit of that is? What would you guess? Oh, wait, that's not the halfway point. What's the benefit?
I guess just helps with the proportions.
Yeah, it helps you, shows where to put things. Right? Because it's pretty easy to find. You notice I'm like, this isn't exactly half, but here's the halfway point. Exact half is pretty easy to find. Wait, 1, 2, 3, yep. So the exact halfway point of each of these lines is very easy to find. Oh, sorry, that thing that I just, with this drawer that I've been fighting with just fell. So I'm going to sketch this in here. I'm going to find the halfway point here. I can use a ruler for that if I want to. It might be slightly different measurements. Let's see, 4.25, so 2.2. This is the halfway point. So if the halfway point is here and here, then I know that the edge of this bird comes just a little bit to the right of the halfway point. See that? And I know, and in fact, oh, look at that. That from the halfway point, the back, it's basically half of the halfway point. Back comes about here. So if this is half, and this is half, this is half, and this is half, this kind of gives me further guidance in terms of where exactly to put things. Does that make sense? I can do it as well here. Right, this is 5.5, so 2.75. Yep. So here's the halfway point here, this yellow. And then here it is here. So I can mark these places here. These halves. And they kind of help me place things. So where is the, well, anyway, we'll get to that because we're not going to draw that yet. So when I start to sketch, I can see that the top of the bird is significantly above the halfway point. It's probably about here. Looking to see if there's anything else that kind of intersects. Not any lines that we're drawing right now. So when I start sketching, I start with this straight line, right? That is like the head of the bird. I don't want to go all the way to the halfway point. I don't want to go past the halfway point. Then I go straight down. And then I can start that little curve. Notice I've stopped the curve about here. I'm not going to try and draw the whole thing. Is that right? I think my head is a little bit too high, so I'm going to bring it down a little bit. That's going to affect my angle just a touch. I'm going to bring that down here. There we go. That looks better. All right. Like that. So there's this kind of angled line here. There's that one here. And then I can draw angle line to just above the halfway point. If you can see here, and I were to line this up here, it stops about there, and then it goes straight down. And then it just goes boom. On this side, over here, goes up and kind of angles that up there. It goes out to about there, comes in, and then goes towards the back. So you see how I'm almost dealing with this. I'm not dealing with any inside lines, and I'm dealing with this in pieces, like kind of quarter by quarter. Here, there's a kind of line that if this line kind of continues up, and then I'm actually gonna come down here. There's a straight line that goes like here, and then we've got the curve of the beak. So this is your beginning lines. Let's see how you do. I'll send a picture of all this so you can see it on the thread. This is labeled as halfway points. All right, so here's your source. So you can look at it. That's our first shape. So just like when we were drawing the lily, for those of you who remember drawing the lily, it feels kind of weird at the beginning. Doesn't look quite right. It looks awkward. But believe it or not, this is the right way to draw. So weird. Drawing is a whole other system of thinking. And so note that almost always your instincts aren't correct. Not because you're a bad thinker, but because you don't know how to think like a drawer. It requires a different system of thinking. So my job is to try and get you there. I'm still kind of adjusting this a little bit. I'll be right back. So really, the reason people can't draw is not that everybody can learn to draw. If you can learn to write letters and you can learn to handwrite, you can learn to draw, but you need to learn the system, right? You need to learn how to think like a drawer to be able to make that work. Easier said than done. And then I'm looking at my shape here and thinking I'm going to adjust it. It doesn't mean that we don't adjust things a little bit as we go along, but it means that if we start with these outside lines, it's going to be easier to fix things. So go ahead and send it to me when you think you have this outer shape, and I want you to take your time. Don't rush. Pauline, you reversed the, oh, I see what you did. You did this. See that? So this angle needs to be more extreme down. And also, Pauline, it looks to me, I want you to look at where this, if I was to continue, so we've got this line down. If I was to continue this line down, look, it really lines up with the halfway point. Yours stops here.
Say that again.
Yours kind of stops here and goes down too soon. See that?
So I need the halfway point.
You need to, that's why, so if you're asking why you need the halfway point, that's why you need the halfway point. Because you're going to bring this line down at an angle to where, and line it up with the halfway point as you go down. There you go. And then this is way too far down. You have this part way too far down. This should stop, this white area before the leg should line up with above that halfway point. And look at where you put it. You put it below. You brought it all the way down to here, below the halfway point. So if you're wondering if you're still wondering, these halfway points are really helpful for lining things up, right? And it's okay to, this is hard. Let's see. So this is Sammy's. Sammy, I'm gonna, so Dominique, what I can't tell, oh, I see. So is this little dot here your halfway point? Is this your halfway point? Sammy, is that your halfway point here?
Yes.
Okay, you need to bring this out a little bit further, but you also did the same thing Pauline did. Notice these lines, this line, if I were to continue it down, would line up with my halfway point. You went like this. So you see, you need to bring this out a little farther. It's hard. Your leg looks great. Your legs look pretty good. This leg needs to come up a little. Well, does it really now? Here. Actually, everything else looks pretty good. So just bring that out farther and that out farther. Notice everybody made that mistake. It's interesting.
You mean
George, no inside lines, please. Erase them. You're not ready. You are not ready. You erase every inside line. Follow my directions. I know it feels counterintuitive, but there is a reason for that. So part of the problem is the shape of your head is completely, you don't got it right yet. Let's see, you've got your head, George, is like this. You're doing that. It's not in the right places. So please erase all your inside lines. And I want you to get rid of that line that's in here because you're not ready to put it in yet. And let's see. This needs to kind of come up straight up more, that outer shape. And then, I see you gave yourself, oh, good. You don't have to draw this if you don't want to. You can just pretend it's dark. I see you put it in there. Something. So something else looks, wait, is that, okay, so that is, something else looks really off about this. George, where is your, okay, let me see, halfway to, so George, your leg should start out here, but about this high up from the halfway point. And then it needs to come down a little bit further. Your leg is too short. And because you tried to fill it in too fast, you made it too short, right? You're like putting these, that's why I'm like, you're not ready to put these lines in. This line needs to go straight down and it needs to be longer. And then this line goes all the way down to the corner.
Okay.
I know it's hard. This is hard. Just do your best, honey. Okay, try that. All right, let's see. Sammy, great. Much better. Excellent. Much better, Pauline, much better. So Pauline, you have this thing happening. So this is what you've done. Over here, you did that.
Okay.
Right? Can you see the difference between what's actually happening? It's curving more to the right. So I would erase this curve, pull it this way. So curved lines, and then also notice that this curved line continues straight down. It doesn't go boink like that. This is a straight line that starts here and it goes straight up, bounces in just a little bit. So you're exaggerating the curve. This is a very common drawing mistake, to exaggerate the size of a curve. This is why I almost never draw curves. I almost always break my curves into straight lines that kind of intersect. See how I'm doing that? Let's see. Better, George. There you go. There you go. Excellent. Do you see the point of this exercise? So I'm going to tell you the same thing. This comes into, this is too bouncy. It's too pronounced, the curve. And it needs to, this part of the head needs to extend out a little bit farther. So you've gone like this, right, and come down. It's really almost more a straight out line. Tiny little angle there. Straight out line that keeps going out like that. This line looks good. Real good. This line looks good. Dominique, what about you? Do you have time to do this? Yourself? Good job, you guys. The second set of lines, which I will do in a different color, I will do in yellow, will be these inner lines. You're going to see it's going to be easier, right? Now you can do the kind of inner shapes. You'll be able to get those sizes right. So do those yellow lines. And I'll have you do these ones too. I'm not going to have you do the face yet, but I'll have you do these. So one of the things here, I'll send this to you. Let's see. Yeah, good job, Dominique. Perfect. Excellent. Good job. All right, so I'm going to take this picture again so you can see the yellow lines that I added.
And how about Lucy's? Lucy's waiting for some feedback.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't see it. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Sorry, Lutz, I missed it. Okay, this one looks great. So Lutz, here you have to make, this looks great to here. You need to, but your leg is very short, so you stopped it here and you ended it there. Bring it down, double the size of your leg. And then bring it down. And I'm going to tell you to do the same thing on the other side. Double the size of that. You kind of have it there. I see you have it down here. So just erase this line that's up here. And double it. But very good, Lutz. Good. That's actually excellent. And Sammy, that looks great. The changes look good. Everybody, that looks great. George looks excellent. Pauline, how are you at? Where are you at on this? Send it over, and then we'll go to yellow. I know it's the biggest thing you're gonna find yourself. Okay, so okay. So Pauline, the breast actually comes a little bit, well, we're close. We'll get there. That looks a lot better. You still have this thing happening. Like these are two separate lines that bounce like this. That's not what's going on. This is a straight line that just goes diagonally down to the right. Amazing how you'll put something that's totally not there, right? It's incredible. That's your left brain getting in the way, telling you what's going on when it doesn't really know. That's why this is a new system of thinking. Okay. So now, one of the things I want you guys to notice as you start to sketch this out is that there is a negative space here. There's a negative space here. Does anybody remember what negative space is? Anybody remember that? No. And in fact, notice what I'm doing. I am noticing that as I start to put this in, I've put my leg too far to the left, so I'm moving it. The outside leg is coming here. And the reason I know that is that if I want to create this shape, which is the shape that is not the subject, I need to bring my leg in further. There we go. Like this. So I'm not only creating the leg, I'm creating this shape. See that? I'm creating this shape here, which is not the leg. So I had to move my leg over quite a bit. That's okay. See, even the teacher has to make mistakes, right? The teacher is making mistakes as we do this. So I'm using this shape to help me. And even so, it's still looking kind of. There we go. And then I'm coming this way. And then there's another shape. So you might find you have to bring your leg. I think I have to bring my leg in on both sides. I think I made it too wide on both sides. So this technique doesn't guarantee absolutely that you're going to get everything right, but it does guarantee that it makes it way easier to fix things. Something still seems wrong. Let's see. 1, 2. No, so that's right. All right, and then over. Nope, my leg needs to come in a lot further. Oh, interesting. Here's my halfway point. So actually, if I look at it, I can see, this is great. I didn't even get this until just now as I was looking at this. If you look at my halfway point, this is my halfway point here. Here's where the inner leg goes to. So look at where I had my leg and look at where it's actually starting. So see how I'm correcting that? There we go. That looks correct. That looks finally like things are in the right place. So everything, you see how I did that? So you guys may have to do that too. So partly I figured that out by looking at this shape. Partly I figured that out by looking at this shape. It was too wide. And I figured it out by figuring out where this lined up. It's a fantastically logical system, but you have to kind of, you have to get kind of adjusted. Oops, no, that's too far out. Yeah. There we go. You have to get kind of adjusted to how shapes actually take up space. How much space is actually taken up by the various shapes when you work on a piece of paper. And by the way, this little point here where the dark neck comes is about halfway down from the halfway point. So I can, George, do you see why you can't really sketch the inside shapes until you get the outside shapes locked in?
That's right.
Yep.
Thanks, Leah.
It's weird. It's weird, right? It does not feel logical, does it? It feels like, what is going on here? And if we get to too much detail too quickly, I kind of love seeing these lines where I thought things were originally and where they really are. I mean, I think this is crazy. Look at how much I made this. And listen, guys, I've drawn this like 20 times. So if I'm making these mistakes, it is very okay if you're making these mistakes. I knew there was something wrong with that. All right, I'm going to take a picture of this. Sammy, you're going real fast. So I'm going to tell you, Sammy, you made the same mistake I did. Look at where your halfway point is here. Your leg, the inner leg lines right up with it. See that? So from the halfway point, here's where the inside of that leg lines up. And then here's where the outside of that leg is. It's going to change
Yeah, okay.
this shape, right? And does it make you feel better that I made the same mistake? Totally did. Lutz, that looks pretty. Lutz, you're going to need to do the same thing. This looks pretty good, but you want to bring, and the feet are twice this, at least 3 times the size that you've drawn them. The feet aren't like a diamond shape exactly. They kind of are, but they're much bigger. Look at how huge the feet are. If you look at the feet, it's kind of as big as like this part of the head. Feet and hand, and by the way, when we start drawing like hands and paws and things like that, you will see how big feet are. They're huge. Feet and hands are very big. They've got lots and lots of, sorry, I'm just doing this because I think it's better for taking the picture. They've got lots of bones in them. They have lots of joints. They're just massive.
Oh, it's okay.
Lutz, you're doing good. Yeah. Hold on. Even further in, Sammy. Oh, wait, sorry. Am I just looking at the same one? Bring your leg even further in. See, it's too wide. And Sammy, on this side as well, your leg is too far this way.
Okay.
Do you see how little? Start with this edge here. Start by making this shape. Right? Start by making this shape, and that will help you put the other leg in the right place. It's easy to move it. It's actually pretty easy to move it.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, George.
Yeah, could you please raise the picture up by half an inch or about an inch, please?
Like that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
You
Thank you
got
so
it.
much.
You got it. It looks like I'm seeing the whole thing, but I never really know.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dominique, you can also, Lutz, you can just work, do the bet. You can keep your shape exactly the way you want, it is. You do not have to, you only correct it if you want to, Lutz, okay? You do not need to correct it if you don't want to. I want to make that really clear. So don't worry about it. Just do the best you can. Is that better? Can everybody see this now?
Yeah, thank you.
Is anybody finding this like super challenging? It's interesting.
Yes.
It's challenging, isn't it?
Struggling with
Yes.
it.
Yeah, struggle. It's a good struggle. This is the struggle. That's good. That's how it should be. And not because I want to make your life difficult, but simply because you are learning a new system of thinking. And it is different than anything else you've ever learned. The closest thing to it is handwriting. And for many of you, except for Lutz, handwriting is you learned handwriting so long ago, you forget how hard it was. This is that kind of practice. Let's see. There you go, Sammy. That's better. So, Sammy, do you see how if I go to the halfway point here and I come straight down, the leg just goes straight down? Yours still goes over here. So literally go to your halfway point and go straight down. And that is where your leg starts on that side. you understand? You're still going to the right. You're still going to the right of that. You really, literally, it's literally just lined up. Let's see. So Pauline, you've done a great job of correcting your legs. Fabulous. I love this shape too. Very nicely done. And the only thing, Pauline, is you need to just bring this out. So you kind of, I just bring this out just a little bit wider and then bring that down. So see, there needs to be two things happening. One, we need this shape, right? Which is light, which is here. And then on the right side of that, there's this dark shape that sticks out there. So build this one first, which you can do because it's connected to the halfway point. Go straight up here, over there, right? Then add your tail shape. In fact, mine's probably sticking out a little bit too much. Mine kind of comes out and then goes down. See that? So there's like shape 1, shape 2. They're next to each other. But everything here looks good. So it's just here you kind of lost the edge. It's because you didn't give yourself enough room here to add this part of the tail in. Otherwise, that looks pretty good. Dominique, good. Who's that? Lutz, good. That's good, Lutz. Very good. Excellent. You got it. Okay. Now that I've thrown all my drawing materials accidentally on the floor, let's see. Do I have another color? Not like a yellow. Gotta wait. See what happens here. Nope, that's not gonna work. I'm going to take this yellow and then draw the inner shape. And then I'm only going to draw the kind of, notice I still haven't drawn the eye. The eye is the very last thing we do.
Okay, so
I can see here that this starts about here. And I can see, well, maybe up a little higher. I'm going here and then here. And notice that this goes straight out, right? And then this comes down, straight down.
straight.
Yep, pretty straight. More straight. You want to make it curve, but it'll be more straight. When I do this, I think I need to kind of adjust the outside of my head just a little bit. There we go. Down like this. And then up here, is where that beak is, where this line of the beak goes. And then here, no eye yet. This is the hardest part. Once we get this down, then it becomes really easy, because then we're just going to start coloring it in. like I said, this is the hardest, this is the part we spend the most time with. And then it makes the rest of the process so much easier. You will see that. Learning to draw is like learning a language. A new language. There are a set of rules. They make total sense logically, but you have to learn the rules. Let's see. Is that Sammy's? Dominique, is that yours or is that Sammy's? That looks like Sammy's to me.
I think it's Sammy.
Yes, it's mine.
Sammy's. Good job. Good job. Pauline, great. Fabulous. Pauline, really fabulous corrections. The only thing I would say is make this foot a little bit bigger. You see how big it is? So you've drawn yours. I'm going to show you on here, like this size.
Okay.
Actually, it's bigger. Or like, I should show you here, right? Right. It's bigger. Great corrections, Pauline. Fabulous. I can see how hard you're working. That is great. Bravo. Great job, you guys. You're great students. You know that? Absolutely fabulous students. There you go, George. That looks, I love this. Fab, you got that? Yep. This is a little bit wider. You've got it kind of coming down a little too far. Make it more straight, sort of more that curve a little bit more to the right. Fabulous, fabulous. Great work. All right, and then of course, our last sort of outline. Now we can add the eye in, the shape of the eye. It's really a triangle and a line. And then we've got this dark line that kind of, it doesn't notice that it doesn't go straight through the middle. These aren't equal. This side is smaller and this side is bigger. So when you're drawing your line, see that this side is smaller and this side has more space. And then there's like darks and lights. And by the way, you're going to have some leeway here, kind of depending on what you feel like doing. For those who want to work on shading, we're going to work on that shading. For those who are really happy with the shape of their bird and they just want to color it in, you can do that too.
Is there any reference point for the eye?
Well, you tell me. Here's the halfway point. So I'd say it's a little bit higher. So two things. One is that, look at this shape that happens. Right? So if I want to start by, there's a little triangle here that's kind of created by the top of the white coming down here.
Okay.
And then it's really a triangle with a slightly curved. No, I think it comes down a little farther. It's easy to make this thing too big. I just did it. Right? There you go. So then the next thing we're going to talk about is, and there's one other giant line I want to get in here, is values. We're going to remember and talk about values again. Does anybody remember what values are when it comes to drawing? What is what are values? What's the value? What does value mean? Anybody remember?
Is it the shading?
Yeah, it's the lightness or darkness of any color.
Oh, yeah. 1 to 5.
So if 1 is light and 5 is dark, right? 2, 3, and 4 are gradually getting darker. And by the way, these are lights and darks, 1 and 5. 2, 3, and 4 are what we call midtones. And that's just what it means. They're the tones in the middle. They're the kind of middle values. So how many values are in this little guy? This little puffin?
Probably all of them.
5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's true. So I'll label some of them. Here's 5, maybe 5, maybe 5, 4. Notice that his little chest, although it's white, is not equally white. Can you
Yeah.
see what's happening here? What's happening here?
Shadow.
A little bit of
It's
shadow, yeah.
moving. So yeah, the light's coming from this side, right? And as it turns away, it's getting darker, just like the spear that we practiced drawing last week. Remember that? It goes from light to medium to dark. So look at how that plays off in a subject. So this is a 1, but this is definitely a 2. And it even goes to 3. And then here's like a 3, here's a 1, here's a 2. Here's a 3. I'll send you over this values chart. And once you've kind of finished sketching, you can start. And if you want to, you can totally just color this in. So for those of you who are in that mood, you can totally color it in. I always like to start with the darkest areas first, because I find those the most satisfying. And then when I do those, my lights also interact. So it's like getting kind of 2 things for 1. And now I can also kind of like, I can still kind of fix my shape a little bit. I can round things a little bit more. And this is the moment, right, to do that. I would still, I know, George, we've had these conversation about the what do you call it? The type of pencil to use. I would start with the HB, right? The HB, the not too dark, the not too light.
Not too dark. Yeah.
And then you can go over the dark areas with like a 2B. The darkest areas, the 5s. But get them in first in this. Get them in first here. And then you can darken. And look at how automatically that starts to come out now. And by the way, when I really push the darks, like against the light area, I'm just kind of going in here, doing it. Look at how already he's starting to look a little bit more puffiny like. Shading is very satisfying. It's like super satisfying because you don't really get to it until after you've gotten shape, right? We've been working with shape. We've been working so hard with shape. Now we can get to shading. Dominique, do you have a minute to chat with me after class? Yes,
Yeah.
great. I want to talk to you about I just want to talk to you about the varying age levels in your class and what that means in your care. I can even see, you'll start to, and what's interesting is you'll start to kind of see as you lay them out, the differences.
You're not bad. Can you unmute?
Aw. And we'll talk more about different ways of shading later. I want you to experiment with what you kind of do on your own. How you make your marks. Your marks might be different than mine. That's okay. At the end of the day, I totally mucked up where that was at the beginning. Okay, give me 1 minute, you guys. I'll be right. Yeah, no problem. It's summer for you guys, isn't it? For most of you. Or monsoon season, or it's equatorial, or something like way different than what I'm experiencing right now, isn't it? It's crazy.
Spring here, and we had hailstones. We went from 22 degrees to 12 within minutes the other day.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. And somebody told me in the west of Ireland the other day it was 17 degrees in winter.
It's cold. It's
So,
really
well,
cold.
But it's 17 Celsius is actually very hot for that time of the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, that 17 Celsius. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. That is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, we know that.
Yeah.
There's definitely something wrong. So strange.
The
How's it
weather here
going? You guys?
doesn't change much. So
Right, because you're equatorial, right? Like
yeah,
closer
it's
to
either
the
raining
equator.
or it's hot, correct.
I feel like that is like such a significant difference weather-wise, the equatorial zone. Like your weather is a completely different weather than the weather that is experienced farther north or farther south.
Yeah, that's right. It's
Beijing, is it winter?
In Beijing, I don't know.
Yeah, she's just
I'm
noticed.
assuming it's winter.
Yes, it is. It's winter, but it's quite sunny today.
Yeah,
Oh, good to hear.
good.
Yeah.
My best friend is from Kenya, and she talks about that a lot, the equatorial like she said, when she meets people from equatorial countries, she feels always a sort of sense of camaraderie because of that, because the weather, it's different, right? It's a different experience of the weather. And so you're right, it's either like hot and dry, right? Or hot and wet, right, George?
Wet.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
hot and
Yeah.
wet or hot and dry.
Like today it rained, I think, through the night, so it's been a bit pleasant.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's nice. So it's good.
So in global warming terms, you're the short-term winners.
Yeah, we don't have, yeah, something like winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it rains like 3 or 4 days in a row, and then we experience some sort of winter.
Right. Right.
But it's very humid, so it doesn't really help.
Right. It's just hot all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
So are you just used to that? Is that just something one gets used to?
Well, I guess so. I mean, not for everybody, I would think, um, because we come from a place in India called Bangalore, which is relatively cooler,
Oh, yeah.
and but we've been living in this part of the world for the last 20 years, so
Right.
kind
Right.
of,
Right.
yeah, I don't mind it, but not not the wife or my son. They don't really like it
They
because
don't
it
like
doesn't
it
just,
so much.
yeah, because of the
Yeah.
skin. Yeah, it doesn't help.
So Pauline, a couple of things. I like the shape of these things. Can you see that something looks off here, shape-wise?
Yeah, gap, massive gap.
Yeah, so this shape, this dark shape really needs to extend out farther,
Okay.
right? Yes, so that there's just a gentle little. So I'm guessing this is what happened. I'm guessing you kind of stopped it. Yeah, it's just too narrow, right? So this is kind of what you did. And that makes this kind of pop out more. So if you bring it out to the left here, and there's a kind of gentle slope that mostly kind of, it pops out a little bit, but it mostly goes kind of straight down. Ooh, Sammy, very interesting. I really love the way you use the pencil. Your mark making is beautiful, Sammy. This is a bit dark. So if you want to lighten it a little bit, just like sort of lightly run your eraser over it or take your finger.
I was
Right?
gonna do that just now.
It's fabulous, but I love and don't forget your lights in here, right? There's more variation of light, medium, and dark than you've got in here. So also take your eraser in and pull out these lights. It's wonderful though. It's really great. And yeah, and the other thing, and when you adjust this, Pauline, then you'll also want to pull back your 2 is reading more like a 4. Right? It's
Okay.
pretty, it should be, it's here, it's okay, but up here it should be lighter. But you'll get it. It's wonderful. You use the pencil very beautifully, Sandy. These lines are stunning. I really love what's happening up in here. I love this sort of crossing that you've got going on, and I love this. Fabulous.
Oh,
Fabulous. Good job, you guys. You're doing great. While you do this, I'm going to clean up my floor, which now has all kinds of stuff on top of it.
Oh, my God, like this, but it's not like this.
And kids, if you want to color this in, you should color this in. You do not have to go. You do not have to stick with the black and white if that's boring for you. You should totally feel free to color this in. Actually, anybody, you know what? Not just the kids, anybody wants to color this in, you can. But for those who are kind of trying to practice values, that's good. Let's see.
Actually,
Maybe I
I
just-
often prefer to use black and white more.
Do you? Pauline, that's better. So then the other thing, Pauline, I think this is also not coming down. It's kind of more straight.
Okay.
Do you notice? So this shape is also kind of funny, right? And that's because you've got too much dark here. If you look at yours, this is what's happening. I'm gonna show you. Yours comes up like this and over like this, and you have your beak like that. You see that? So it's shorter, and there's too much dark here, like that. So the solution is to erase this dark shape so it's more like this. I'm going to send it over up close so you can really look at it. Oh, here's a good exercise. I should turn this upside down and have you guys look at this upside down. I think it'll help. Help me see. George is like, don't you do that. Let's do it for just a minute, just to see if it helps you. Sometimes it will actually help you see the shapes better.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So Polly. Well, you could totally mock me for that one, George. That was funny. It's like, oh, I totally hear you. But see how I can see the shape a little bit better?
Yeah, it's very
Looking
true.
at it upside down. It's like if I just agree with you, will you be quiet?
Wow, that's
Leave me alone. There's almost always a point when I'm looking at, oh, great work, Sammy. Oh, Lutz, that's so cute. Is that a kitty cat?
Yes.
I love it. So turn your drawing upside down and see if there's some drawing problems that you can, shapes that you can see better when it's upside down.
Can I not do this one? No, can I do something else?
Okay.
Yeah, you can totally draw something else if you want to, honey. You do not have to draw. You do not have to keep working on this if you're done with it. So Dominique, not bad. So now take a look at it upside down, and I think you're going to see that this is too high up. Right?
Yeah, I
think
just
you'll
noticed
see.
that.
Yep,
I just
yep.
did that, and that was the first thing I noticed.
Isn't that fascinating? It's so fascinating. So work it upside down and you'll see it. It's like so funny that you can often see things. But like I said, at some point, I always work on my paintings upside down. Not me upside down. I turn the painting upside down because it really helps. Like, and there are certain things that I would never even consider drawing right side up because they're so complex that I can only really see them upside down. That's not bad. Very distracted, Dominique. Not too bad at all. Oh, look, I can see, like even I'm like, oh, okay, I can see some things I can fix. This shape is not exactly. There we go. I'm able to do some corrections too. Let's see. Better, Pauline. Yeah, much better. Is it helping to look at it upside down?
Yep.
Yep. It's
I'm
crazy,
just-
isn't it?
Yeah, not sure that I've got it right though.
Well,
either.
you still, this, if you look upside down, you'll
Yeah.
see that this is too high up. You've got too much white here. Look at this white shape. It's lower. Yours is up here,
Oh, yes, yes.
right? So bring that down, get that shape correct. So look at this. And whenever I'm struggling with a shape, I'll often look at the kind of negative space, the shape next to the shape. It helps to do that. Right? So look at this shape. Try and get that shape, and then that will help you with this shape. So weird. So drawing is this, it's very engineering, right? Like you're kind of taking things, it's like a car engine. You're taking it apart and then you're putting it back together. It's there is a very like you have to this is why it helps to look at things upside down, and this is why it helps sometimes not to know what you're drawing, because when you're looking at shapes, they're all related to each other. It's more like a jigsaw puzzle,
Yeah.
right, than anything else. And that's the thing. And I could just see how fat my bird is. Just as I did that, I was like, oh my God, look at how fat I made my bird so fat. He is much, not that there's anything wrong with a fat bird, but do you see how I was able to see that line so much better? I love it that I'm a little, you guys are kind of lucky. I'm always a little bit tired for these classes. So I'm not on my game, but what you get to see is me making a lot of mistakes, which is actually how I spend much of my painting time, is making mistakes. Like it's not like you get great at this. It's just you get better at seeing the mistakes, knowing that they're going to happen, and then fixing them. It's weird. These are really great. Pauline, a lot of good corrections. Don't forget to fix get your line of your beak. There you go. Like kind of established, right? There's a center line here. I'm gonna sketch it in so you can see it. Well, it's not a center line, but it's like the line that divides the bottom beak from the top. This side is smaller, this side's bigger. And don't worry if you totally don't get it right. This is a practice. Notice I'm not even getting it right. I've been doing this 20 years. So it's a practice. We'll work for about 10, I'd say 10 more minutes, 5-10 more minutes. And then we will take a break for a week, and then we'll come back and do more beginning drawing.
Okay. This will be my last one to show you.
All right, fair enough. I think you've done fabulous. I think you've totally taken this drawing a long way. And I think you need to think about it like that, right? Like it looks, I mean, no one will question. This is a puffin. This is absolutely everybody's, drawings look not only like birds, but like exactly the bird that you're supposed to be drawing. I am going to, there we go. Let's see. Oh, George, wonderful. Fabulous. So make sure to get your kind of the last thing you should do is this transition. Right?
Okay.
Light to medium.
Light
to
to medium.
Yeah, see if you can do that in the next like 5 minutes. I love how you got the shape of the feet. I love how you got the size and the shape of the feet. I love the beak. I love the shape of the head. You really got this. Pauline, did you send me another one? Are you working on it just
Just-
a little bit more?
I did.
Yeah, work on it just a little bit more. Work on it. Give yourself, push yourself just a little bit. Oh, and look, I did the same thing. I need to bring this down. Well, hell. Look, I did it too. As I look here, I can really see it. There's this little, and it's better. And if I turn it right side up, I can really see it. Right. Oh, yeah. I'm also using my ruler to kind of, or my eraser to kind of bring back out my lights. I like how that looks. Sammy, are you watching this? I think this is something that you would really like. A technique you'd like. I like that. Yeah. These are so cool. Yeah, just got a couple more minutes. A couple more minutes.
Excuse me, can you show me that again?
Show you this again. I'm just taking, you see how my paper, because I've been scribbling on it, I've kind of lost my lights. See how they kind of go away? So now I'm erasing them back out. See that?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think this is a technique that you'd like because your mark making is really strong. So you see how I'm like literally pulling the lights. So I'm kind of taking my hand to smear it so it gets darker. And then I'm pulling out the lights with the eraser. What do you think of that? I'm going in here and doing that here a bit. Here. Okay, I'll turn this the right side up. So see, there's a kind of there's a light to medium to dark, but it's a little bit more subtle. From time to time, by the way, you guys, I will also bring you in guest teachers. I want you to have more than just me. I promise they've been very vetted by me and they're fantastic. I have a lot of really great guest teachers who will come in and work with you as well from time to time. Because I think it's good to hear things. Oh, beautiful, Lutz. You're so productive today. Oops. There we Okay. And at some point, we're also, I think in January, I'm going to teach you two different drawing materials. We're going to work with charcoal and newsprint,
Ah.
and we're going to learn how to use ink. So fun. And if that terrifies you a little bit, let's wait till you get it. It's fantastic. You will love ink. I found ink really terrifying when I didn't know how to use it. And I remember taking a class. This is like 10 years ago. So, you know, I'd been painting for quite a few years by then. And I was taking a figure drawing class with ink, and the teacher said, I was like, I don't know what that's going to be like. And she said, oh, ink changes everything. Very softly. She was totally right.
Are we gonna use this sometimes?
Yep. I'm definitely going to teach you how to use pastels. That's color, though. We'll get into that a little bit later. I've had a lot of, oh, Pauline, this is great. Pauline, fabulous corrections. I want you to really feel good about that. And try it again if you want to. You'll probably find it goes easier the second time, right? If you have the patience for it to do this again. Oh, and before we stop, I want to show you guys, I'm going to show you guys the resources that you get through the roaming studio. Here, hold on. I'm going to put this up here, pull this up here. So number one, and Pauline alluded to this a couple of weeks ago. All right, so I'm going to share this with you. Here, where are we? Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay, I'm going to share this with you. So my company is called the Roaming Studio. It's here, theroamingstudio.com. And if you, yes, I know I'm screen sharing. And if you go over to the, sorry, here, hold on. There's something called, damn it. Sorry, here, hold on. Can you, wait, the Roaming Studio, no? Can you see the Roaming Studio again? Can you see it here?
Yeah.
Okay, great. You'll see this thing called the portal, the Art Class at Work portal.
Yep.
So if you click on that and you type in the same password that we used to get on this Zoom link, art is fun. It has the class schedule for all the classes, right? It has the Zoom link. Hold on, where are you?
Thanks, Mom.
It has the Zoom link that you'll need, right? It has the WhatsApp threads here. It has supply lists for all the different classes. And this is my favorite thing. Almost all of these classes are recorded. Not all of them, but most of them are recorded and edited, and they're put into a video archive, and you can find them all here at this link. So here's your drawing upside down class. Here's your shading basics class. This is a class I taught on teaching. I never know what's going to come up. Here's painting and night scene. Every single class I teach gets put into these here, so you can watch it. Usually within a day or two, it gets edited and put in here. That resource is totally available to you. So I will send all that information across the thread. So if you're ever wondering where the Zoom link is, it's there. If you're ever wondering where the schedule is, it's there. If you're ever wondering where the supply lists are, it's there. This is a great resource because it's basically got everything. You can also subscribe to it, so it'll show you every time I upload something new. But this is totally all, and then they're organized by subject, right? By animals, human made, charcoal drawing. This is what we'll go to in January with you guys. Here's figure drawing, right? So you can try any of these. You can take any of these classes. I know you're like, I'm tired of taking classes right now. I would like to end my class. But anyways, I wanted you to know that this is available to you. So this class will be uploaded probably in the next day or two. And so if you wanted to take it again, it's totally available to you. Fabulous work, everybody. This is becoming a habit. I like it. Did you have a question, Pauline?
No, I was saying thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I think you guys are doing so great. Dominique, hang around for a minute. I want to talk to you about where your kids are.
Okay.
So that we handle this correctly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, great. Oh, George,
Okay.
gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Love that. All right, you guys, fabulous work today. I'm going to talk to Dominique about her kids just to make sure we get everybody covered. I won't see you next week, but I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay, thanks, Leah. Take care. Bye-bye.
Fabulous work.
Bye, guys.
Bye, George.
Bye. Bye.
All right. Are the kids here or can we just talk?
Hang on a sec.
Okay.
Hang on.
I think you and I should just talk because I want to make sure. Oops, wait, I'm going to